So, with the Five Nights at Freddy's movie coming out soon and an announcement of Help Wanted 2, Fnaf has been everywhere, and because of that, it's creeped its little way into my big old mind. And because I'm a content creator, it is legally my job to make a video about it. Like, it's not required, it's not like maybe I can do it, it's like, if I want to be a good content creator, legally I have to. So what am I gonna do? Cosplay? Play the games? Maybe make my own fan game? I am going to figure out at what point in the timeline is Fazbear Entertainment the richest company. So why am I doing this, you may ask? Why am I, of all people, doing this? Why could I not just leave this off to, like, people who are more experienced? Maybe legal, maybe Matt, Pat, who knows? Those people who understand what they're doing and understand the timeline of this? Well, it's for a few reasons. For one, the first thing you may notice in my name would be Wyoming. But then you'll notice salesman. I'm always focused on the finances. After all, it's in my job. I'm salesman. I gotta be focused on that money. So of course I'm gonna be focused on the finances of a fictional game company. For two, it's just a question I'm surprised nobody's asked before. I mean, like, come on. You constantly hear, oh yeah, the company's gone under. They've gone bankrupt. This caused the company to die. And yet they always come back, just like William F. So I gotta know, are they really going under? Or do they have enough money to be able to, I don't know, last the company for years? It's a curious question I've got. And for three, I've already done the research for this video, and if I don't finish and like make this video, go to waste. So yeah, I've already done all the research. So call me Fnaf's new accountant, because god damn it, we don't need another Freddy. I mean, we've got 12. You don't need to make another one just because you've got a brand new idea for the restaurant. Just use one we've already had. They're not going to notice the difference. They're 12. First, we have to go over a few things. For one, this is the timeline we're using. Yes, it's complicated, and yes, FNAF 2 becomes before FNAF 1. But no, I will not explain it, because it physically hurt me to make this. It was really complicated, and it's, I think, the best timeline I've got. But it's pretty accurate, and actually, I have a second timeline that has all the final profits on it. I'm just not using it right now because I'm trying to make a narrative. I don't want to destroy the fallacies of YouTube by destroying the narrative. I don't want to spoil anything. Why would I do that? Whatever, it's fine, But besides, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. His name is Dave. Now let's talk about Pizza Sim. We're not using Pizza Sim, and the reason why we're not using Pizza Sim is because I don't think you actually make a profit from it. For one, though it is the most visible that you make money from, I don't think you're making a profit, because it only lasts a week, and you're putting all that money back into the location. So you're not really gonna be making a profit from it. For two, I don't think you could even make fire insurance money from it, because I don't think Henry Emily would buy fire insurance for the location, because this is supposed to be the end-all be-all for the company. And it is my belief that the FNAF 6 end speech actually survived the fire, so even if they wanted to be like, oh hey, we somehow have fire insurance on here, they'd be like, yeah, but it's very evident that it was intentional fire, so like, you're not making the money, chief. But that's why we're not using Pizza Sim. And finally, for number 3, my timeline's a little bit weird. I'm essentially giving the company the best shot they got. Reason why I'm doing that is because, like, dates are years. They're not months, they're not days, they're years. So my best guess was that they went from January to December. If the company closes that year, they closed December 31st. And they were open from January 1st. They were open the whole year so they can make that year's profit. Why? I had to gamble. Other than at the end of the timeline, which was probably even the hardest for me, I didn't have specific dates, and even if I did, they were very kind of Like one person would say, oh yeah, this is a specific date, and then another person would be like, no, it's this, and then another person would be like, no, it's this one. So just bear with me, but it's fine. Now that all that mumbo jumbo is out of the way, no, not you, get out of the way. Anyway, we can finally make it to the best part of this video. The money. Alright, so the first part of our timeline is from 1979 to 1983, with the initial opening of Fazbear's Family Diner. And I'll be honest with you, I tried to use real life statistics as much as possible, so we're going to be talking about a lot of Chuck E. Cheese. Speaking of which, the average cost to run a Chuck E. Cheese is $1.17 to $1.83 million, which is a lot, but we can cut that price down just by the tiniest bit because it pays to have your bosses be able to make animatronics. Instead of 4 animatronics went on auction for $5,000. So we can take that price and cut it out. But we have to cut it in half because Fazbear's Family Diner only has 2 animatronics. But you take that number, subtract it from 1.17 million, because come on, these places are dingy and dirty. We're going to be using the smaller amounts. But do that math, and we get $166,500 to zero out, which is abysmal. So, what kind of profit will they be making? Well, Fazbear's Family Diner is probably bringing in 72 guests per day, which is 18 families of 4, which I know is a lot, but for one, they're in Utah, which has a lot of big cities, such as Salt Lake City and Eagle Mountain, so they're probably in one of those. And for 2, I don't think they have any competition, at least not from what I could tell. So, 72 guests, each guest will be buying a large pizza, which is $14.49. Can I promise they'll be eating it? No, but they'll probably each be buying, so don't worry about that. But, as I said, $14.49, take that and times it by 72, and we get a daily profit for at least pizza, $1,043.28. Then we have to add on arcade games. Arcades run an average weekly profit of $1,100 to $2,000. But we're going to use that lower $1,100 because I cannot see arcade games anywhere in these locations. I don't know where they are. They're in the 8-bit portions, but I can't truly promise that those parts are real. So $1,100 plus $40 because a birthday party costs $20 at Chuck E. Cheese, and we're gonna give them a bit of a generous offer and say they have 2 birthdays a week. So add those all together, and we get a weekly profit of $12,979.28, which is a nice amount of money. So we take that number and divide it from the number we had earlier, and we get how many weeks it's going to take to zero out. Drum roll, please. It would take 89 weeks, or 1 year and 37 weeks to zero out, which is a lot. But hey, they run from 1979 to 1983, so we still have 3 years and 15 weeks to be making our money back. So, now the question is, what is that profit going to look like? So, in 1980, in those other 15 weeks, we will be making a profit of $194,695.68, which is pretty nice. Then, a yearly profit would be $674,943.36, which would also be nice. Now, you take that times it by 3, and you take that number, add it together with the 15 weeks, and we would end up with a profit at the end of 1983 of $2,219,525.76, which is just great. I'll be honest, I thought they would end up in debt, or at least having a much lower number, but they're in the millions. Well, not for long. So 1983 has a lot, and I mean a lot going on. First, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza opens up, and because it has 5 animatronics, it's actually going to cost us to zero out $1,168,000, which is a lot. But let's start the math to zero. What the hell? Hello? Are you the guy making the video about Fnaf's financial situation? Yeah, that's me. Well then. you've been served. Thanks, I guess. So, as you just saw, I got served about the 5 missing kids. See, the 5 missing kids kind of throw a big monkey wrench into this whole ordeal, as it was pretty heavily implied that they got sued out the wazoo almost immediately for the 5 missing kids situation. But the thing about that is, there is only a certain amount of time. There is a certain amount of time before a missing person can be legally declared dead. And for Utah, it's 5 years, which, you know, kind of messes up our whole situations. So what am I, the Fnaf accountant, supposed to do while sending this video up? Wrongful death lawsuits, that's what I'm gonna do. Wrongful death lawsuits can range from accidental to intentional, and anywhere in between and beyond. A wrongful death lawsuit can cost from $500,000 to $1 million, but because it's pretty heavily believed by everybody that Afton did it, we obviously know Afton did it, but we're gonna assume that everybody believes Afton did it as well, and because he was not allowed on the premises and books and all this other stuff, they're probably gonna believe. So they're probably gonna be running up that money, and because it was also gonna fall under intentional wrongful death, it's gonna be probably the most expensive it's gonna be for the company. So $1 million. Now we're down to that whole $6,168,000. And we're not even finished with 1983 yet. So as I just said, we have to get through the rest of 1983. First, we get to go to Circus Baby's Pizza. Yay! Circus Baby Pizza is so much more high-tech than any other previous place. So I'm gonna say it costs the higher end of the $1.83 million, but we get to chunk out a higher bit because the animatronics are also way more advanced. So instead of basing them off of Chuck E. Cheese animatronics, we're actually going to base them off of Disney animatronics. The lower end costing $10,000 with 5 animatronics, the 4 you see in the game, plus Funtime Chica from Ultimate Custom Mate, because yes, I'll count them. They're a weird outlier, and I just want to get them in somehow. But those 5 costing $50,000, putting our debt total to $1,078,000 from just Circus Baby Pizza, which they don't get to make up because of gas leaks. I'm legally not obligated to tell you what the gas leaks actually were. But again, we're still not done yet, because we have another Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. This time, it's the Fnaf 2 location. Fnaf 2 is a lot more advanced than Fnaf 1, so we're also going to make it cost $1.83 million, but again, we can cut out only $10,000 though, because while the Funtime animatronics are a bit more advanced, they also use a ton of scrap parts, and we have animatronics, so $10,000 it is. But taking that money, subtracting it from $1.83 million, we get $1,820,000. Struggle to say that one. Adding those all together, we get a total debt amount of, drumroll please, it got really off budget because we're in debt, $9,768,000. But hey, we did make a profit in the past three to 4 years. So what would it do? So what would we actually end up with? Well, our actual end debt would be $7,548,474.24. But then again, that's debt we have to pay back, which is unfortunate because that's a lot. So now it's the years 1984 to 1987, and because we're out of lawsuit hell, we don't have to worry about that. Just trying to beat that debt. Let's go. So first off, we would be making $2,699,773.44 from Fazbear's Family Diner. Then we get to talk about the profit of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. We have 2 years and 36 weeks to get out of that debt we talked about earlier. But with the 16 weeks left in that year, we would make $207,674.88. And we would make $1,349,886.72 in the other 2 years, making a final profit of $1,557,561.60 altogether by 1983. But we're not out of the woodworks yet, because I guarantee you forgot about Circus Baby Rentals. Yay! So, Circus Baby Rentals was propped up after Circus Baby's Pizza closed due to gas leaks. So, how much are they going to be making from those rentals? Well, based on their animatronics, I'm going to guess they costed $5,000 to rent out, and 2 got rented out every week. 52 weeks, that's going to give us a profit of $520,000 per week, and a full profit of $2,080,000 from 1984 to 1983, which is a lot. And I'm sure it was just there to cover their asses from the debt, because it's a lot of debt. Accounting is hard, and that's a lot of debt. All right, we gotta cover ourselves somehow. So, finally, adding those numbers all together, we are left with $6,337,335.04. But take that number and subtract the debt we have left to make $1,211,139.20 left in debt, which is reasonable. I actually think we could get out of this debt if we just keep going. Again? Hi again? Yeah, it's me again. You've been served. Wait a minute, is this for the bite of 87?
Was that the bite of 87?
Yes, we get to go over lawsuits again. Only this time it's funner, because it's the bite of 87. So, that would fall under, again, a wrongful death lawsuit. But because it would more fall under malpractice based off of what it is, it's actually only going to cost the company $500,000 plus $63,334.40 because of 2 PTSD family lawsuits. A normal PTSD lawsuit costs about $31,567.20. Make it 2 of those, and we get that number. Adding those all together, plus the debt we already have, we are up to a debt amount of $1,774,273.40, which I think is still reasonable. I mean, that's nice. Oh yeah, the Fnaf 2 location and Fazbear's Family Diner closes. Now, we're from 1988 to 1993, which is a bit simpler. You see, Fnaf 1 location reopened, and because we already added its debt to the initial big debt chunk, we don't have to do any debt calculations for this one. So all we get to do is profit. And their profit by 1993 is $4,049,660.16. which is pretty nice. Then we get to add more of Circus Baby Rentals, giving us a nice additional $3,120,000. And altogether, that comes to $7,169,660.16. Then we subtract debt from that, and we get a final profit of $5,395,386.76, which is a good final profit. And then they just closed. I don't know why. They had a profit, they were doing just fine, but they just closed. Let's talk about interest. So for 30 years, money kind of just sits there doing nothing. So they probably put it in a savings account with a 6% interest rate because that was the average of 1993. And they didn't have any additional things. So take this, do 6% for 30 years, and our profit is going to B, $30,988,356.23. And we're barely over. Because now we're talking about 2023. So for one, we also get to make fire insurance from FNAF 1 location because it burned down. You see, the rule with fire insurance is if more than 80% of the location or business or item burns down, then they get all of their money back, which is pretty nice. But I don't know to the extent of all these locations burning down, so we're just gonna gamble and say every place is probably 80% or more, which some has some merit, like FNAF 3, that has merit, it's probably more than 80%, while FNAF 1 I can't be for sure. Alright, but we're just gonna go with it. So, we get to make back additional $1,117,000. Then comes Fazbear Frights, which costs $500,000 to make, but we get to subtract $35,000 off as animatronic scrapping and other small business parts. So it would put us down $465,000. But then we all make it back because of fires, which is just so nice. So by the end of FNAF 3, we get $32,158,356.23. Then we reach the easiest part of all the research. Help Wanted. Help Wanted is the easiest section because it's an in-lore video game. And because of that, I get to cheat and just use the profit they made in real life as like the profit they would make from the game. You see, Help Wanted altogether sold a ton of copies costing $7.1 million, which is a lot and was super easy to research, and I'm so happy it was. So we take that number, add it to what we already had, and now we have $39,158,356.23. And we finally made it to the end of the timeline with security breach. So first, let's talk about some debt. Of course, in order to run a mall, it's going to cost $3 million to build a neighborhood-sized mall, which is about 10,000 square feet, which is being kind of generous for the Pizzaplex. Sure, it's pretty big, but I don't think it's 10,000 square feet big. But, you know, we're going off what we're going with. So we take that, and my best estimate. So, the mall probably opened in July of 2023 as it was pretty heavily teased in Help Wanted, and I'm gonna guess In-Lore was out by the end of Help Wanted. So, how much does a mall make a year? Well, in 2023, a mall made $7.5 billion. Well, of course, now they're gonna be the richest. I thought this was gonna be a bit unique, but $7.5 billion? That's so much, and that's 2023, this year. That is the profit they made. But, hey, they're only open for a few months, so who knows? Maybe we're just lucky. Who knows? It's so much, though. I think they might take the cake. Because they, even without them being open a full year, they would still make $3,122 million. And on top of that, we're making our 3 mil back due to the fire. Because, come on, we've played Ruin. That's pretty heavily over 80%. And I don't think they're coming back with that. So, our final profit for the FNAF timeline as of our current date is $3,167,158,356.23, which is crazy. I was kind of hoping maybe it was something with sister location which would make them the richest. But no, I guess it's the Pizzaplex, which is crazy that a mall could rake in $7.5 billion when in the city I live in, there are 2 malls and they're both pretty bad. But anyway, alright, well, thank you all for watching. I put so much effort into this video, it took me so long to make. And I'm going to try my best to get it out everywhere I possibly can, because it just took me so so long. But I do really want to get it out there. I genuinely feel proud of this video so far. And I'm just recording it. I've yet to edit it or make the thumbnail or post it. But yeah, so thank you all if you are watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. As for this channel, don't worry. Gameplay videos are still going to stay. I'm still going to do gameplay videos, but I also want to do these more complicated videos. But I do need to explain that because I'm in school and doing all this other stuff, these longer videos can be harder to make, longer to do, and may not be as frequent. So don't try to be like, I guess don't try to pressure me, because I ain't gonna listen, but just be warned. If you like this video and you want to see more big, longer, researched videos from me, just be prepared that it's gonna take a while. And also, understand that I'm not just gonna do FNAF theories, freaking math videos. No, I'm gonna do whatever I want. Like, I already have an interesting video I want to make about a VR chat world and creator that I found that is going crazy. I want to do a video about the Jurassic Park book because I'm reading it. I want to do a video about these little guys because I've just discovered them and they're actually very interesting. And I want to do some Star Wars videos. I want to do a lot of videos in a lot of different places. So don't expect me to do something crazy. Don't expect me to stick to one thing because I'm crazy, I'm nuts, and I like weird stuff. But anyway, finally, thank you all for watching. And to my fans, goodbye, good day, good night. Bye.